Hello, who?
I said hello, hustlers.
Hello, hustlers.
Welcome to Fiber Hustle. My name is Chip.
My name is Aaron.
I like to collect sewing patterns and quilting patterns and fabric like they're Beanie Babies.
Oh my gosh. That was good. I've been dying to show you the dyeing that I've been dyeing up yarn-wise. Not as good as Chip's, but is there anything that is usually as good as Chip's?
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We're here to serve, and you like to watch.
You do. Fiber Hustle episode 41. 41.
Hi, it's been a minute.
Hey, it's been almost 8 long minutes, years, months.
Do you remember all of this?
All of this. I'm channeling my inner Santa realness these days. But I think the last time you saw me, I might have been all... It's not even gray. It's just white. It's like you're born and you're gray. It's just, there was no really big transitions. I don't know. I'm over it.
But you know what? You look marvelous.
Do I? Do my eyes pop more with the gray?
I was talking to hustlers.
Yeah, but I'm talking about me. See, I haven't changed much, so.
All right, so yeah, it's been a minute, and we're here to show up, show out. Is that what you said?
Show up, yeah.
And show down.
And show down. We know a lot of you have reached out and said, hey, just like one episode would be nice.
They're like, yeah, get on it. So we're here, and we may not be prepared, but just hang your hat and get to doing whatever it is that you're doing and enjoy the ride. So
I like how you went sewing. I would have went knitting or crocheting.
Well,
just do something. You can needlepoint.
It's called instinct.
It's called instinct.
All right, so now that they've collected themselves, they've fallen out of their chairs, they picked themselves back up, they've realized that, hey, we went from March to August. Oh, it's almost August. 2 more days, it's August.
2 more days.
But,
because we did a Tube Dudes in August, but this is our first real show of 2023.
I mean...
Was it August? I meant March. Yeah.
Great for pointing that out.
just great. I mean, A+. All
right, so
grade grubbing.
How about we start off with a quick recap of what happened?
What has happened this year so far? We launched the Fiber Hustle store.
Ooh.
Was that March?
March 17th.
And if you guys don't know about the Fiber Hustle store, where have you been? I mean, it's taking over the whole block.
This whole house.
Like our mail lady loves us.
Oh my God.
When she does show up to pick up the mail, she loves us.
Okay, one of the promises that we have made since opening up our own Fiber Hustle shop is that we are going to deliver packages unlike bingo. So if you've ever played bingo over the years, things have not come speedy fast. But we are, I would say, hey, good job. We are on it when it comes to getting your packages out. So we've only had one little hiccup, and that is you can go onto the USPS and say, hey, I want my free pickup to my house. And they come and collect your packages, your outgoing mail. It's beautiful. Mwah, chef's kiss. Except for when they're not feeling it, like, I know I've got this pickup order slip that the confirmation, but they just say nope, and they skip our house. And that's not good. So on those rare occasions, which have been, I kid you not, at least 6 times now, we have been skipped. We go to the post office. And so I actually get out of the house and
we get every time we get out of the house. Go to the post office.
To go to the post office, that is it, I assure you. But the shop has been doing tremendous, and we greatly appreciate all of your love and support and keeping us busy, because I tell you, my focus has been nothing but the shop.
Yeah, that's all Chip has been doing an amazing job. And if you guys have questions, comments about the shop, please just send us an email and let us know. Or if you want to give any kind of feedback, even the negative stuff, you don't have to post the negative stuff yet. But send us an email. Send us an email at least so we can work through that with you. So that was a big thing. We launched the shop. Then we had Pride Bingo. Pride Bingo this year was raise the roof.
My God.
It was so much fun.
It was one of the best. We had 2 sessions, both of which were off the hook.
They were
great. So good. We had so much fun. And we have, I think we So we had one for June. Did we have one in the spring?
No. That's
No.
our first one.
So-
We had New Year's, then June.
Gang, we are changing the schedule. It used to be that we would do it every 2 or 3 months. It is way too much overhead and too much work. But we're keeping the bingo sessions that we love the most. That would be
Pride, Halloween, New Year's Eve. And that's it. Now, maybe be some just like random ones when Chip are like, hey, do you want to have a bingo this weekend? Let's do it. Not guaranteed or anything, but we talked about that. Maybe throwing another one in there for the year, but
we love bingo. We love bingo. So you guys who have been attending, keep up the antics. It has been, people are dressing up, they're dressing their spaces, and it is so much fun. We love doing it with you. Thank you to everybody who has been still sending us boxes. You know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. We couldn't do it without you. And the next one is going to be, I think it's October 27th. It's the Saturday before Halloween. So let me look at my calendar real quick.
Hallows Eve.
Looking on the calendar. Yes, it's actually going to be the 28th. So make sure that you tune in and make sure that you see on Instagram when we release the sign-up sheet. You are going to want to come.
Gonna want to come. It's gonna be limited again. Sometimes we just have to sadly turn people away. It's like Studio 54.
Do we?
Like, yeah. No, we've done that. Not turn, one person, no. But sometimes they fill up so quick, we're like, hey, I'm sorry, we'll get you in the next one. There used to be a waiting list. We don't have the waiting list anymore because we just started doing 2 games.
Oh my God. It's going to be so much fun. So we're already planning.
Mandatory costumes.
We're already planning those costumes. If you're going to come, you got to dress up. So,
Yes. Rewinding 3 minutes, 4 minutes, we still do need to send bingo prizes to those people who played bingo in June. And my dear, you said during that game, hey, everybody, we can send prizes so you don't have to wait weeks to get them anymore. We accidentally lied to you. But those...
You know what? I'm going to take a moment here to just say, there's nothing like having your partner throw you under the bus.
Hi. Hey, everybody.
All right. And we're back.
All right, what else? There was, we did a dishcloth revolution in the springtime, which was off the charts. We had a few knitting sessions that we all got together and knit some dishcloths. I kind of want to do it, I don't know if I have time. I was going to say October for fall, but everybody's busy in October, I think, with Rhinebeck and just different things and bingo. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut and not mention that again.
Gang, I even participated in Dishcloth Revolution. Erin had to go out, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my own little live Zoom session with anybody who wants to show up. I think there was like 6 people who's like, okay, I'll join. And we were putting sticks together and doing loopies.
It was April Fool's Day because you posted, you're like, I want to see if anybody comes for April Fool's Day. And people did come to your dishcloth revolution.
Exactly. So my dishcloth is actually a UFO, but it's over there. I'm going to finish it.
I'm excited. I hope you do.
On the next revolution.
It's about 1.5 inches so far, I think. I don't know.
My stitches are on point.
Then the bad, gallbladder removed, 0 stars, don't recommend. Gang, you know how we don't talk about the negative stuff, but in a 48-hour span, I had a colonoscopy. Seamus is doing much better now, thank God, but Seamus had a stroke during the whole colonoscopy thing. And then literally the next day, I was in the emergency room with gallbladder. Not surgery. I was in the hospital for 5 days. But yes, colonoscopy, Seamus stroke. We went to multiple vets right after I got out of my colonoscopy, still trying to wake up. I'm in the car going, trying to get the cat to the hospital. He's doing fine now, thank God. And then I was out of work for 2 weeks for the whole gallbladder thing. God, it hurt. But yeah, again, just throwing you on what happened then. We don't like to talk about the negative stuff.
I broke my toe.
Yes, that same week, Chip broke his toe. So we need to.
So
we need to
that
smudge
is
the house.
so a couple months ago. We are
Yeah.
aces at the house. No need to send, a wellness check. We're doing fine. But even still, like, look, we're looking good. No, everything's good. So, yeah, I count myself in good company. I know you count yourself in good company. That 2023 has been a year like no other. It seems like everybody we know has been going through something a lot more struggling, a lot more tough. And so if you're personally going through something, just know you don't have to get into the details, but you're not alone.
Yeah, remember, you're loved and you matter. Somebody out there needed to actually hear that, and you're loved and you matter.
Oh my God. So yeah, there is just a lot of people have been going through some tough stuff. So we're going to continue on. I think we've well past the half-year mark. So now we're easy breezy into the rest of the year.
Maybe this episode will help you. Well, hopefully it does. And then just to wrap it up, I went to Utah with my sister and her family. Utah is absolutely gorgeous. Went to Zion and Bryce. It was nice to get out of my zip code for a while, and we stayed in Kanab. Kanab was gorgeous. Utah was great. Everybody was super friendly that we encountered. So pretty. I don't know if I could live there because of the sand color. Everything's the same color. I like my trees here in Washington State, but it was great. And then a few weeks ago, us and a few friends all met in Sisters, and we went to the Outdoor Sisters Quilt Show. Now,
Seems like, that's already a couple of weeks ago.
July, the beginning of July. So,
oh my God, almost a month ago.
Yes.
Holy moly.
This every year just gets faster and faster.
Zoom.
But we'll talk about Sisters more next episode because we took some video. We just have not had time to put together. Our friends were there. They gave us some gifts. We gave them some gifts. Just had an overall great time.
We got video to show. We got picture to show. We got loot to show.
And Sisters Oregon is in the Sisters Oregon, is in Central Oregon. It's the largest outdoor quilt show in the U.S. Is that correct? So it's a one-day event that goes from like 9 to literally 5. They hang out quilts all over the city, town, village.
I think it's more like 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
So they start hanging them up first thing in the morning, and we're going to get into it next week. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it now, but they hang quilts for one day. So they're up in the morning, they're down in the afternoon, and the show's over. And if you've never been, I highly recommend. For non-quilters, I think it's a fun day.
Even for non-quilters, it's a great day. And there's plenty to do around there. You're close to Bend, Oregon, Redmond. There's a bunch of hiking and stuff around there. Fishing. I don't know how many of you fish. I'm a fisher person. But it's just cool. I mean, Bend's a cool vibe. So, Central Oregon.
Fisher person.
If you're a fisher person, a bill dance, if you will, then it's a great place. So, that's our 6, 7, 8 month wrap up.
That's at the very high level. So,
Yeah, good times.
Okay, so Aaron?
Yeah?
Could you please start us off? Let's talk about some knitting and some quilting.
I would love to do that.
I mean, we've got stuff from Seattle to show folks.
Yeah. What did we used to say at this time of the show?
You made that?
Oh my gosh, I did make that. So, gang, not much knitting, to be honest with you, the last 8 months. The shop keeps me busy doing dye stuff. My work-life balance is out of whack right now, which hopefully someday, please, that will change. But about a month and a half ago, I literally, because everybody knows that I'm not the biggest sock knitter, and I was like, I feel like kind of knitting a pair of socks for some reason, but some shorties since it's summertime. And in my head, I was like, 9-inch circular needles versus magic loop. So I'm going to knit a pair at the same time and do 9-inch circular needles on one and do magic loop on the other. So that's what I did. So, and I took yarn because I didn't want to go into my personal stash. But so these are my dye jobs, just like my hair. Just kidding, I didn't dye it. These are my dye jobs, but these are bases that I don't have. This is look how gorgeous this is. This is a 90% Targhee superwash and 10% merino that I Got maybe about 6 months ago to kind of test out. I got one skein, just kind of testing out to see if I was interested in it. I love my 80/20 4-ply base, so I don't think I'm going to switch anything because I love my base so much, but I was just curious. These were made on Magic Loop. They're in my colorway Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, which is album inspired by the Smashing Pumpkins album, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
That's a mouthful.
Which is, and I'm wondering if I should probably change that name to something, because you never know when somebody's going to knock at the door and send like a cease and desist letter.
I don't think so.
Okay, because we're not huge or anything, but yeah. This is Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. Let me go into a little zoom shot. This is made with a lot of blues, some red speckles, some green, and some put some ochre in there, and some Aztec gold. And can you imagine, let me put them next to each other, if you did a whole sweater just in these colors, it would probably be more like that to get the stitch definition, which I'm actually thinking about dyeing up some DK weight or some worsted weight and trying a sweater in this, because I personally love this colorway. And I really love this 90-10 Targhee. It feels different than any other base I've worked with so far. And it feels like it's going to hold up really well. So I'm excited to actually try these because it's been so bloody hot here the last few months. I have put these on for about 1 minute and said, yep, that's the feel. These 72 stitches. It's a vanilla sock. So I did about 20 rows of ribbing. This is 1x1 ribbing. Then I do 10 rows of just stockinette before I start my slip stitched heel. Do a normal slip stitched heel. Then I start my gusset, all that good stuff. And for some reason, the last 2 socks I knit 83, I counted at the bottom, 83 stitches before I start the decreases for my cuff. So I don't know why 83. I was just like, I'll just try it. I have 11.5 size foot. I wear 13 size shoe, and they are snug. Oh my. You threw me off there when you said, oh my. Feet picture are available if you reach out to me. I'm kidding. I don't do feet pictures. I had to say it or somebody would actually reach out and say something. So 83 stitches keeps them snug. And I've been looking, because I've noticed the last few socks I've knit, like last year, were just a little too baggy. So this is what I came up with. I'm also, just the same thing, this is a colorway that I do have. It's not in the shop right now because it's already sold out, but I tried a different base. This is a 75% Cordale and 25% nylon. It's a super wash. And this is...
Can I tell you, I think I know the colorway name.
What is it?
Is it Kevin's Head?
This is Kevin's Head. Now, for those of you who reached out asking me if it had anything to do with Kevin from Needles Out the Ready, it does not. We're friends, but I wouldn't call something Kevin's Head. If you actually watch the movie Up and you look at Kevin, the bird from the movie Up, it is the colorways of his head. And this is so gorgeous. So it's mostly this kind of blue jean blue, and then it fades into a orange that goes into a really bright yellow. Now I noticed this Cordale didn't, compared to my 80/20 Superwash 4-ply, it's bright, but I think the 80/20 that I actually sold out of is much brighter than this. The Cordale feels, you can feel it, feel this. Doesn't it feel really woolly? Compared to this Targhee, I think it feels woolly. When I did soak the Cordale, you would swear to God I was in a huge sheep farm, because right when I got it
I
wet,
like the feel of this better.
Like, do you, of the Cordale?
This actually feels heavier.
It does feel heavier, doesn't it? And it's the exact same thing. This, the one that Chip's holding, I did on 9-inch circular needles, because remember I was kind of comparing if I like 9-inch or if I like the Magic Loop better. I got to about here on the first sock and I had to switch to Magic Loop. My fingers just can't handle the pain for me of doing the 9-inch. So I even bought a fixed 9-inch circular needle when I was in Bend, Oregon at one of the shops, and I just couldn't finish it. I had to switch over to Magic Loop. So I'm finishing, and I started this one in Magic Loop, and the only difference is so far is I did 2x2 ribbing instead of the 1x ribbing. One by one ribbing. So yeah, this is Melancholy and Infinite Sadness, and this is Kevin's head, which will be back in the store at some point. Yeah, just need to get out there and dye it.
I love it.
Thank you.
I would like
Go on.
one of each.
One of each. There you go.
Oh God.
There you go. They might be a little big for you, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have that big a feet.
What are you?
But I see. What is that
9.5?
stitch marker still?
This is our, I met Fiber Hustle behind the barn when, I can't do it, shouldn't be rocket science. When we went to Rhinebeck last year, we kind of gave these away to some people. Yeah.
I love it, and you're still using it.
I do, because we had some left over, and instead of giving them away, I just kept it.
You're like, nope,
I'm gonna
it's
keep
mine.
it. So Chip,
Yes, sir.
you made that?
I did make that, and mine dates back to spring when we were getting ready for Tube Dudes. We had a slew of projects between us, and we actually had to pare down. So this is something that dates back to spring that I never got to show, but I'm telling you, this period, the spring, really kind of set the tone for the rest of my year to where we're at today. So I was thinking of making, our neighbor, has all these pictures in her kitchen, and I wanted to make her a little embroidery thing, a little wall hanging. And I have an embroidery unit that just plugs into my Bernina, and I have never taken any classes. I have never watched that many videos. So it's just a matter of trial and error. And look at this, somebody who doesn't know what he's doing, actually, look what I accomplished. I was so thrilled. This is, when people are thinking about this and they're looking at they're like, oh, that looks like it's been hand stitched, but actually this is machine embroidered. I can take it out of this little frame. These little frames are pretty amazing. It's just a plastic hoop, and this is, I want to say, bamboo that is wrapped around something. You get these on Amazon, and they're not expensive at all. But it's nice. You just hoop them on. But I made 2 of these, and I wanted to give it to her. But the other day, I just said, hey, I want to make you something for your wall. And she's like, I don't want anything for my wall.
She's done with things. She's 89. She's just
She
done
doesn't
with
want
things.
anything. So it breaks my heart. So I'm going to have to give this to somebody else. They're going to have to get a gift. We're going to get one, and she's going to get one. But this comes from Allison Glass. Yes, this is the right one. This is the Allison Glass 76 embroidery file. And what's cool is that it comes out on, it used to come out once upon a time on a DVD. They're still packaging it that way, and it goes on at the shop like this, but you just plug this into your sewing machine, and then there's the files that you need. Then you have the fun job of finding all the colors that it's asking for. And what I love is, well, actually, this one took probably, I think I want to say 3 hours to
Holy
make.
cow.
Because it can stitch a lot, the machine can stitch a lot faster, but you tend to have a lot more thread breaks. And again, this is something that I'm just learning, trial and error, what works for my machine, considering the needles that I'm using, considering the thread that I'm using. What I found was that if I slow at halfway speed or even lower, I get better results. I don't have as many skip stitches, and it's been so much fun. I'm really getting addicted to some embroidery. So I made that.
Hence the talk of us maybe getting an embroidery machine. Maybe.
Dude, if we get an embroidery machine, I mean, game on. You can make anything.
That'd be awesome.
And I'm not paying for it. You're not paying for it. Fiber Hustle has to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can make more stuff in the shop if you have
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah. So I would say if you've got the embroidery module or an embroidery machine that goes with your sewing machine, play. Just go out there and like embellish something and like gussy it up, bedazzle it.
So they ordered so many DVD cases at one point that they have a whole warehouse of these, and they put like an e-cigarette. It looks like in here.
It's a USB thumbstick.
It looks
thumb
like
drive.
it looks like an e-cigarette, but it's just amazing that you order so many of these that you keep on using, which is clever and still why I'm glad they found a different use for them. But it's just amazing how CDs are like literally so out that.
Well, okay, so I've got one book that is like a no sewing until you quilt it, and it's like this whole book. It's a stained glass maker. You know, she's teaching you how to do her method, and then it comes with an actual DVD. And I don't even have a DVD or a CD-ROM on my computer. I had to ask you. I'm like, hey, do you have one of those?
I'm vintage, yes.
Oh my God! So like, yeah. And the nice thing is that these are forever. I mean, like they make all the files, so any machine that you have will work. I mean, come on, it's Allison Glass.
It is. I just thinking of DVDs and stuff like CDs. I still have a book of CDs in my vehicle because I have a 5-disc changer. That's how.
In your current car?
Yes.
There's
I don't have
5?
There's or is it 6? 6 disc.
And how?
6 disc changer.
How do you read all of those scratched DVDs or CDs? Because he don't take care of his CDs.
Some of those are like from high school, which I still listen to. Wait until I would love a tape player still, but the tape player, most of my tapes got eaten. But whose didn't? That was just the times.
These are so pretty. I mean, like you could put it on a jacket. You put it on a purse.
Back of a jacket, like a gang.
Like a gang. You're part of the B gang.
The B. You're part of the bzzz.
You're part of that B gang. I think it's really, it's actually quite feminine.
It is. It's so.
I mean, I see.
You want to bumble with the bee.
You do. Okay.
Bzzz.
So Aaron,
knows
so
that
that's that. Allison Glass embroidery.
Love it.
Get ready for some more. There might be some more.
I like it a lot.
Aaron.
What, Chip?
Which one are we on?
This one. We're still at.
Oh, you made that?
It's been a while. We're still trying to get through it. So you might have saw this on Instagram many months ago, but I never got to show it. I have been mentally and trying to get my fingers to do it in a cable mood. Eventually, I think I would like to make a cable sweater actually before I do a colorwork sweater, but I really want to do both. But I was like in a cable mood around the springtime as well. The end of spring, you know how it is, or beginning of the spring. And my friend Michael from Piece to Piece,
I know him.
for Piece, yes, crafting, sent me some
for it.
yarn when he went to Africa, and he brought back, this is Cowgirl Blues, in the colorway of indigo. It's a DK weight, and this pattern, I like how I have to look down, this pattern is Weekend Hat by Hiromi Nagasawa, and I love it. It's like perfect. Let me see if I can get on me. Hi, look at this. So I love the color. I love the pattern of this cabled hat. The instructions were super easy to read. And these cables are gorgeous. Let's see if you can see them right there. Come on, there we go. Gorgeous cable pattern. And it wasn't complicated because you know some cable patterns can be a little complicated. So let me talk real quick. Seriously, if you're going to try a cabled hat first, if you haven't done cables first, I recommend Jason's cashmere hat because that is super easy for such a huge payoff. If you're going to do something second, I would suggest this pattern because it's just amazingly written. It looks really good, and the yarn is delicious, and it's a 100% superwash merino. But look, I think the cables came out. Why am I showing it like that? The cables came out very well. One thing I did do, I didn't realize it to the very end. This is written in a ribbing that this is the ribbing that should be showing right here. But there's a part in the pattern that I misunderstood, and literally reading through it, I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. So I kind of went on. So now when I flip the brim, I'm really showing the inside when the outside should be like this. So if you do get this pattern, which again is the Weekend Hat by Hiromi Nagasawa, make sure you read the pattern correctly, because I was just kind of like, that doesn't make sense, and I'm just going to go on with my life. And then right when I put it on and put the rib up, took a picture, posted it, I was like, wait a minute, this isn't right. It still looks good, but I wish I would have done it correctly, where this would have been what the ribbing actually looked like, because it looks a little bit more classy than what you're actually going to see.
I still think it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great hat.
I mean, if you don't point that out, nobody actually would even know.
Very true. So just, that was my personal error, not the pattern. So yeah, got that cable hat done. I love it. Can't wait till, it's sad that I actually just can't wait till fall. I'm a huge September, October person, and I don't want to, I don't want to rush the
color
year.
of the room just got all changed and golden.
How did that happen? He opened the curtains.
I had to open up the curtain. It's like really hot in here, and you know, AC. We don't have it.
We don't have it. We turned off the fan so you didn't hear it, so it is getting a little warm in here.
Okay, so
Chip,
yes, sir.
you made that?
I did, and I'm trying to decide which to go first, because I've got two. Like there's like, why don't we start with here?
Do both of them.
So we've got Tula Pink's 100 quilt blocks. So I kid you not, I have been, since we last saw each other, I have been like sunrise to sundown making baskets, and they've been selling.
Home of the chip basket.
But I haven't done as much selfish sewing, but I did participate with my quilt gang. We did the 100 modern quilt blocks all together, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of blocks to do, and this is a user-friendly, noob, beginner-friendly. This is a really good book to try out. Tula Pink has really basic blocks, and there's nothing intimidating about all of the different layouts. Each block is unique, and what's nice about this book, or actually this pattern, is that there are different layouts that you can achieve. The one I did is called the gridlock, and here we go. So I'm going to show you. So we have a couple of different options. You have all of them more in a grid, and that's why she, I guess, calls it the gridlock. But then there's also Skyline, which is more like that. So each of your blocks, and then this would be solid, this would be solid, this would be solid. There's different layouts that you could work with. And here's the gridlock that I did. So I did this with some sashing in between each block, just to give each one some space. She did hers in an ombre, with not an ombre, but more of a rainbow. I didn't do that. I just kind of went willy-nilly. But there's another one. This one's called Sliding Scale. So as you can see, there's different ones that you could do. Me, I chose to do, and this is going to be a little messy.
Can I do anything?
Yeah, you could help me.
Let's do it.
Hold this out. So I did this, and I actually haven't seen this in about a month. I still have to quilt it, but I finished the quilt top.
There we go.
And you can see, like, there's all of these blocks, and I did mine in, the fabric is Bohemian Rhapsody, and I absolutely, it is a fun quilt. Like, this is something that I would love to, you know, just bundle under. I still think this would be a very generous couch quilt, because I love oversized quilts.
Who doesn't?
But yeah, I think it turned out pretty great.
Pretty great. It's amazing.
A lot of fun. I mean, it's not my favorite.
I mean, it's a color explosion, right?
It's color explosion, and that's what it's meant to be. But I will say This is what would be considered, this would be considered more of a sampler quilt. And that means that you're trying out, you know, different blocks. And it's not like you have one or two blocks that take up the entire quilt and become a pattern in itself. So this one is, everyone is unique, and not my favorite project to work on, because it's like, I like to get all my cutting out of the way first, which you can do. My friend Fizz, she did all of her cutting up front, but then she had all these Ziploc bags, 100 of them. And I was like, ooh, I'm not doing all that. I took each block one at a time. I cut, I sewed. And I think at most I was able to do, I did like 10 one day. And that was a lot to do, 10 blocks in one day. But this really is a create the block as you go, cut. It's meant to be that. The interesting thing I would say about this is that Tula Pink does not give you any fabric requirements. Like, this is supposed to be more of a stash buster project.
Oh, okay.
So you look at whatever block is that you're working on, and like if you're working on number 75, then you would just look and say, for this block, you have 1, 2, 3 different colors that make this up, and then she gives you the dimensions of what to cut for each block. And then really you have to kind of study the picture here and kind of break it down and say, okay, well, we've got these 3. Obviously you're going to put those together, put these together, put these together, put these together, and then you're learning, and this is why this might be a good skill builder, is that you're really trying to think of order of events when you should actually be putting your pieces together. And you know me, I don't want to read instructions anyway, so I like deciphering and figuring out this suits my needs just fine.
I'm assuming this is all her fabric examples, or am I mistaken?
Oh yeah, this is all. These are all her fabrics that she used. Okay. And it was fun. So, and the Bear Quilter, if you are familiar with him on TikTok, he's actually doing this one as we speak.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice.
And I don't remember, I think he is. He's using Tula Pink as well. So this is a fun one, and I just have to quilt it whenever I see a room for opportunity on the long arm.
Is opportunity really that far away that you have to?
It is. I have to see it's way in the distance.
Or it looks like a 1990s Kohl's ad.
It's way in the distance. The opportunity is way in the distance.
From back in my model days.
Aaron?
Yeah?
Which part are we on?
I have one more thing to say. You made that.
You made that?
Oh my gosh, you did. I forgot. I didn't realize you remembered.
Oh my God.
Going back to cables. I made another cabled hat, which this one's just as scrumptious. This is a Jared Flood pattern, Brooklyn tweed. This is the Woven Roots pattern. This takes worsted weight. You at least need 220 yards of worsted weight. And guys, this is in my colorway Golden Kelp. This is a non-superwash. And to me, non-superwash kind of just shows definition and the crisp and cleanness of the definition in cabled patterns. There's nothing wrong with using superwash yarn for cables, but for me, if I want something to kind of give a little bit more crisp and clean, like I said, definition, I love using non-superwash. This is 100% Targhee, a little bit more woolly, feel it, a little bit more woolly than, let's say, a DK Superwash. Mm. But yeah, total close to skin, good to wear, and this pattern is the bomb.
I love that color.
Yeah, me too. This is a cool color, and I'll also show you a close-up of the stitch definition. Boom. And so you can see what the cables look like. The camera is upside down, so we're trying to trick it, but those cables are absolutely gorgeous. Simple pattern, again, just like the first one. And I think I'm going to start getting into the worsted game. So in the shop, hopefully next week, if you want to make your own hat or sweater or anything that you just want try 100% Targi, I want to show you some things I got coming up. This is actually golden kelp, which is right here. So it would be, this is what you want to make this kind of hat.
This color has been so popular.
This has been popular, but I want to show you the difference between superwash and non-superwash with some things I've been trying real quick. So let me get some tight. This obviously, not obviously, but I'm talking about it, is the non-superwash Targi. Compared to, this is the 80-20 4-ply. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it that much in this kind of light. And this is a BFL version of it. If you can tell, the superwash is a little bit more muted because, the Targi non-superwash is a little bit more muted than the actual superwash, because superwash takes that color so well and makes it more vivid, but not everything has to be vivid. So yeah, this is one of the colors I have coming up. Then these haven't even been named yet. So next week when these are in the store, you'll be just as surprised as I am. Here is a yellow that I'm going to put next door. Then we have a kind of a
Oh my God.
tannish kind of color going on here. And I love these two together.
Wait a minute, you made that?
I did. I made that and dyed it. There's some parts that are a little bit darker, but I think that gives it more characteristic. And when you knit something up, it just gets a little bit more definition and characteristic when it's
Character.
Character, yes. Character. These look pretty close, but this is two different colors. We can see they look like two different colors in the camera. Then I did this pinkish color, which is just as gorgeous. And I did this green. And I think I'm going to add a few more to the collection.
Oh my God, look at them all.
These will be in the store next week. Names still to be coming. But again, Targi 100% non-superwash. They're great for anything from sweaters. They're good for hats. They're good for mittens. And if you're looking for a worsted, I got you covered. So I'm excited to get these in the store.
So these are all
you can try
worsted?
them. All of them. This is
Wow.
all worsted. And this Targi is, I mean, everybody loves, obviously, merino, but I've been purposely kind of looking for things outside of the box of the merino just to give it a try, because I think, like, if you're always eating, I don't know, Reese's Pieces, maybe it's time to try a different kind of candy bar to see if you're missing out on something.
Oh my God.
And I love this.
I mean, really, this, I'm feeling, it's cool. It's not like, these don't feel like really heavy saturated colors. It feels like these are just cool and calm, and I love them. I really think you...
This is actually really saturated, this one right here. You wouldn't believe. And just FYI, most of you have used indie dyed yarns. I couldn't get the words out. Indie dyed yarns. Reds still do bleed a little bit, and pinks still do bleed a little bit. I try to get all the dye, excess dye, out of the yarn as possible. Try to get it all out there. But there are some, if you're using different kinds of soap,
you're never going to get clear
stuff, you're just never going to get it totally clear. That's why on the website it also says, especially with my pinks and reds, that there might be a little bit of warning on there that it's not, the water's not going to run clear when I am washing these.
What's this?
These were in my, this is my errand bag from the Scrappy Angel that I was keeping this yarn in. This is the Pecker bag.
Is that the Scrappy Angel?
It is the Scrappy Angel, and she sent me it. It's a wire, it's a box, what do you call this? Box bottom, wire frame, and it's one of my favorite bags. And when I was
was this Aaron's cock? Aaron's, I mean, I think that's what we called it. The Aaron bag.
Aaron's cock bag. It's generous. I mean, it's really large bag.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, it is
add to cart.
Add to cart next week. Hopefully you'll grab some of this lovely yarn.
All right, good job. Aaron, what's the next?
I don't know. Are we at, what are you making, or do we still have? You made that.
I think I still have.
Look at the agenda.
I still have a you made that.
Chip, you made that?
Okay, so gang, you heard me. I was talking about the bear quilter over on TikTok. Well, I have made some TikTok friends. We may not have been on YouTube, but we definitely made we're starting to get out in TikTok land, and we have our neighbors.
I'm like, what is happening?
I'm looking at the neighbors.
I thought, I don't have my glasses on, so I thought he was actually peeing in the yard.
It's bird's nest.
We call it. We already told this story years ago.
Bird's nest is out there.
Bird's nest is grandpa, who I thought was peeing, but he's just taking a hose.
Okay, so anyway, yes, I've been making friends with some TikTok peeps, and so they've got the quilters of TikTok have a round robin that I have taken part in, and my group, there are 12 of us within the U.S., and there's actually, I think, like 12 groups of 12 people. There are a lot of people doing this round robin. So the way it works is I grab 6 things of fabric, 6 fat quarters, and I put them with a little notebook, say, introduce myself, mail it off to the first person. They're going to make a block, one single block, out of my fabric. They're going to finish that block, put it in the bag, put the fabric that they didn't use, and they send it to the next person. And we all, it's called a round robin. We're all every month sending our fabric to the next person, to the next person, to the next person. And as we get the fabric, we're making one single block, and it is 10.5 inches by 10.5 inches. And this is where I have started out in the spring. I started, like getting away from just traditional quilt blocks, and I have been so artsy and like trying different things that I have never attempted or I've never even tried out before. So I'm going to show you some of the blocks that I have made to date, and I think I've finished 6, but I have 5 pictures.
Amazing.
Unfortunately, I didn't get the picture for all of them. So, all right, so now I've got the computer, and let's go and cross your fingers. There we go. So this first one, I was having so much fun. I got this fabric. He had kind of like space, and then there was some MTV. It was very novelty fabric. And so I took the teal, the light blue that's in the foreground, and I took it to my laser cutter and went and created the, oh my God, Aaron, help me out with this. What's the name of the Abbey Road?
I was going to say, you're going to make me very, very sad if you don't get this.
It's the Blues Brothers.
Yes, it's the Blues Brothers Absentee Road. The Beatles Abbey Road.
The Beatles Abbey Road, and I did this applique. And what was fun is that when I was trying this out, it was a free pattern. I'll put it in the show notes. It's actually supposed to make this big pillowcase. It's a free pattern online, and I was not knowing what to do with the fabric, and then I was like, oh my God, I came across this pillow pattern for the Beatles Abbey Road, and I was like, this would be so much fun, brilliant. Like having Abbey Road in space. So I took that, and I took that PDF, turned it into a file that was good for the laser cutter, and then I just ran with it and came with that guy, and I'm so pleased with it. Now, the interesting thing is what I've learned out of this. This was like the first kind of very beginner, what's the word I want to say? Beginner attempt at applique. And so like I made so many mistakes. You can see how, like, if you look at the edge, when I was trying to do all the stitching on there to really hold down the fabric, I was coming right at the edge and trying to make the width of the stitch so tight that it looks rough and ready, which not necessarily a bad thing, but I've gotten, as good as this is, I feel like I'm getting better. And the next one is, let me go down. Can I go to the sidebar? Sorry, gang. Here we go.
Well, look at that.
Let me do this. Get out of this.
But while you're finding that, I will say that Beatles Abbey Road is my favorite Beatles album.
Here's the next one. So the next one is really, I call this one the Science of Bees. And what I did is I took my own background fabric. So the light tan I had in my stash, and you figure you're sending fabric from person to person to person, and you don't really want to use up a lot of their fabric because you're trying to make this go for 12 people. So I'm trying to use as little of fabric as possible. So what I first did was I took some scratch fabric, and I was like, okay, I already had the Allison glass, and I loved the bee that I made for the embroidery file. That I said, okay, what if I just took the bee and did that? And I loved it. And then I made ovals, and I cut them on the laser cutter, and I found the right size that I wanted to do, and I really just played with it. So then I ended up taking all of her fabric, and let's go back to Chrome. I took her, what is that? 4 different fabrics, and just made a ring out of it. And I just absolutely love the way this turned out.
It's gorgeous.
In fact, I'm so in love with this that I'm actually thinking about making applique kits for people. I've done the quilting, I've done the cutting for you. There's already a fusible on the back of it, and so maybe there's enough to make a quilt, and all you have to do is the applique and the working. And if people are interested, I would love to add this. I'm so excited, and I definitely want to make one of these Science of Bees quilts for myself. I just think it's really, really pretty. Mm-hmm. And then I called Carrie over at the Creative Obsession, and I was talking about, if you really look on this one, that the fabrics actually kind of interlace. And that was a fun part of it, because I just didn't want rings on top of rings on top of rings. I wanted them to feel like they were actually interlaced, and I love the way that this turned out. So this was the block that I sent on, and people, the person, she's like, oh my God, I love it. She was very excited that I made this for her. Moving on, I made this guy. Oh my God, this one was another, this one was, I want to say it was Tula Pink. This is a Tula Pink, and this is the Everglow Lion. And I started that with the yellow background fabric, and I just made that. This, I kid you not, this embroidery file took 9 hours, 12 hours, something like that. It was so long to make, but it was like, I was so pleased in how it turned out. The interesting thing with this is that they're going to give you a whole list of what to make. So you have, like this is the inspiration photo, and I use this to kind of identify on the chart what colors were actually used. And it seems like it's a little confusing, and it can be, because when you're trying to figure out where everything corresponds, and between, let's say it's going to do all of the nose and the eyes and the outline, you're trying to figure out, like, this is what they recommend. So number 1, number 2, and onward. And I lined up my embroidery thread one by one, and I just put them in a row. So as I'm stitching, I just knew, okay, number 1, it's this color. Number 2, it's this color. And so I had everything sorted out, and I really feel like it turned out really, really nice. Now, one of the things that I've learned from other quilters is that for some reason, they hate curves. And I don't know whether it's because I started out sewing clothes before I did quilting, but like I love curves. I have no problem with them. And a lot of people will steer away. This is a fun one because this was the prototype that I made to make sure like I knew what I was doing before I made her block with her fabric. I didn't want to cut in and start sewing on hers. So this one is actually an inset circle, which is really awesome to do. So sometimes you'll have like a drunkard's path, which you're actually only sewing this much, and then you make 4 of those, and then you sew all 4 of them together to make a circle. But this is actually 1 piece of fabric, 2 pieces of fabric. So I cut this green fabric, I cut that on the laser cutter, and then I cut the inner circle, I cut that on the laser cutter, and then it's just 2 pieces of fabric, and then I sewed them together. It's an inset circle, and I absolutely love it. You're eliminating the seams on the inside or the interior. It leaves it nice and clean, and then so when you do your embroidery, it just stands in there, and I love it.
That's great.
So that was Everglow, and this was a really spendy. This I think was like $7 or $8 just by itself.
For the pattern or for the
embroidery file. I didn't get like this is the whole collection. I didn't get the whole collection. I just bought this one file.
Interesting.
So moving on, the next one I did was the Skull Candy, and that one was a lot of fun too. This one I really experimented, and this was the first one that it's an applique embroidery, which means that this purple, let me see if I can zoom in. This purple right here is actually fabric. It's not colored fabric. So you have your background fabric, which is the sand color, and then you have your white that I added for teeth. You have your purple that is for the skull. And then there's actually orange fabric that I added behind here. And you stitch and you lay fabric down. This is a whole different way of piecing without quilting, but it turned out so pretty. And I would like to do more of this. It's a really fun project, and it turned out really good. I'm not going to say it's perfect because my spacing between this upper left and this upper right, the space between that and the center disc, they're pretty close, but then they don't actually align with the space that I have in the bottom. I'm not going to cry about it. I still think the overall effect is really good.
Yeah, if you don't point it out, everything looks exactly perfect.
But completely different. Like a lot of people, they're going to go with quilting. It's like these traditional blocks, and like I'm really getting a hunger for doing more artistic things, not just something that everybody has already seen before. And I'm having fun. I'm really having fun with it.
Can those go in any embroidery machine, or do it only can be Bernina, or only can be Juki? Or...
No. So like again, this.
Sorry if you said that already.
This is in like however many 8 different file formats. Okay. That depending on what your machine needs. Same with the Skull Candy. The fun thing on there, they have, what was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 20 different ones that I could have made. And you could play with the color, but these have here it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 different file formats. So this is really, I would say, universal for most consumer at-home sewing or embroidery machines. Definitely, this is something that's user-friendly.
Cool.
Last one is a traditional block. And I made this with my AccuQuilt. So all my pieces here, I cut out with my AccuQuilt.
Look at you, AccuQuilting away.
Yeah. So those were the blocks that I have made so far for my round robin with my TikTok, the Quilters of TikTok. And it has been so much fun. If you ever can get it into a round robin, I would say do it, because you get to meet new people, and then on top of it, you're actually maybe sitting up a little bit more straight to get, you know, everything aligned. And are you sitting up straight?
I am.
Oh God, relax. But it makes it makes you want to do the, you know, do your best for somebody else.
I can't wait to see what others have made for you when your blocks come back.
I think it's going to be very interesting. There's some people that they pick out all of their blocks that they're going to do. They already know what their game plan is, and they just wait for the fabric, and they said, okay, I'm going to do this one. One person literally picked out all their blocks, and they leave it to a dice game. Excuse me. They assign each block a number. They roll a die, and whatever it lands, that's the block that they're going to do. I mean, it's just a different way of doing it. Me, I wanted to wait until each person's fabric comes, and then I let the fabric talk to me, and then I start dreaming and getting ideas. Every person's going to be different.
I'm sure there's something like that in the knitting community, like a 5x5 square to make a crochet or a knit blanket or something like that. I don't know if it consists in sweaters, or if there's something like that out there that I don't know about. Comment, because I'm actually really curious now.
You could have a dishcloth round robin.
That would be so cool.
So you send, these are your hanks or whatever, for enough for 12 people, 12, and like each person does a dishcloth for you and moves it on.
Might be cheaper just to have everybody have their own yarn and then do it. Because when it comes to fabric, there's so many, there's so many choices of yarn, but I don't know about dishcloth yarn and cotton yarn if there's that many choices. Something I'll have to think about.
So
but
what?
No, those are great. So what? Who cares?
All right, so TikTok round robin, ta-da.
Yay!
I have been busy. We have been busy.
We have been.
We may not have been YouTubing, but we have been busy.
YouTubing!
All right, Aaron.
Yeah.
What are you making?
I am making, you're going to see a ball, and you're going to be like, I can't even understand what that is. So, when did I start this? Let's say 3 months ago, I started this is an original prototype chip basket. Sorry, didn't mean to call that out. I love this one. But I started the Speckle and Pop by Stephen West. I've seen this pattern for years and years and years, and I've always looked at it and said, you ever looked at something and said, is that super ugly or is that super intriguing? Do I want to do that? Do I not want to do that? And for some reason I kept on going back to it. So the very first 3 skeins of yarn I ever dyed with my friend Carrie at the Creative Obsession, I was like, that is what I'm going to use.
Is that a name drop?
Speckle. That was a name drop. I'm going to use for my Speckle and Pop. So can you show a picture of what it's going to look like at the end before I pull out this hot mess? This is a Speckle and Pop. It's a fingering weight yarn, takes fingering weight yarn. It is 3 different colors to kind of get the fade from left to right, but you also use scrap yarn in between just to get even those, as they say, pops. So you're using 3 main skeins yarn, but there's also a bunch of pops in the middle of that. So let me share this. And again, it's kind of at a ball right now. But if you notice, I don't even know how to do this.
Turn this around.
Turn that around. We're all stuck. We're all getting jammed up here. But zoom in. Here is my 3 different skeins. I started with this one right here, which none of these have names because they were the first few ones I did. It's just a heavy speckle of like some magenta and blue. And I wasn't gonna alternate yarn as much as I did. So I did 3 rows of purple scrap yarn and then a pop of yellow. This is all my yarn as well. This is just stuff I started when I first started dyeing. Then when I went to the second color, main color, then I started changing the color every single time. And I wish I would have done that here between the transition, just because it really pops right here compared to this with just the purple and yellow. So if I am displeased at the very end, I'll just go back and maybe overstitch it because obviously I'm not ripping back. Then we come to our very last color, which looks like the second color, which is more of this, turquoise or, no, it's not turquoise. What color is this? The main. I don't know what to call it, but it looks almost like the second. So they blend in really nice. It is a crazy pattern. I did have to rip back a few times a seafoam because I was just like, I didn't understand the directions sometimes. And again, that's my interpretation of the directions. I was like, oh, you get to the end. I'm like, that's not right. Ripped back. He does have several videos in the pattern to help you with things that I've never heard of, like picking stitches up a few rows below, then knitting through the back loop on a Tuesday, but only if you're eating ice cream, something like that. But it does work and look great. I am at the point now that I had to make a decision that am I going to do brioche or garter stitch? Reading through the pattern, it suggested that this might not be it's your first time to do brioche, this might not be the pattern to do it. So he suggested that if you've done brioche 2 to 3 times, maybe do it on here because there's a lot of brioche decreases and brioche increases, which I've never done brioche, so I don't know if that's difficult or not. But also if I did brioche, it would take more yarn than I actually had. So I am finishing this up in garter stitch instead of brioche. I think it's still gonna look fabulous. I'm trying to think what yarn this is. I can't even tell you what it is. I know it's it might be an 80-20 2-ply superwash. Again, this is the yarn I was just learning on, and I forget what I ordered back then. But it feels soft.
I mean, that's well over a year ago.
Yeah, it is well over a year ago. It's nice, it's squishy, but I think it'd be cool to have something to commemorate my first 3 skeins and a shawl that is gaga goo goo because of all these pops, and that's why it's called Speckle and Pop. And it suggests that you use your speckled yarn, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm excited to get this finished. It's gonna look sweet. Oh, but guys, look at all these ends that I get to weave in at some time in my life. I did a lot of weave and Steven through this, but I still got to go back and cut it and then weave in some stuff. And it's just...
Weave and Steven?
The weave and Steven, Charles, is a technique that I know some of you are going to say Stephen West did not invent it, but he grabbed it, owned it, and said mine, is when you take your yarn and your new yarn and you're knitting them together the first, let's say, 8 to 10 rows. That way you're trapping the yarn as you're going. So when you go through, you just go back and cut it. Instead of knitting without the other strand of yarn. So when you go back, you have to weave it in afterwards. So you knit the 2 things together. Like if I joined a new color right here, I would take this, knit this together as basically double until I run out. Then I go back and just snip it with the scissors because it's already woven in.
And you did or you didn't do that?
I did it most of the time. So I should be able just to go, but it still makes me nervous. Do you guys get, like those who do the weave and Steven, are you nervous at all that you're like, I feel like I still need to weave in the ends? Because sometimes I do still weave in the ends.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, this is a waste of my life and
There
time.
are mittens that he still wears. He looks like a homeless person.
With very good looking mittens.
With all these strings, like he went Rat City.
Who says that you have to weave in your ends anyways? I know a lot of people who do not do it. Like Rebecca from the Mean Girls. I remember I saw her, Rebecca, hello, I haven't seen you forever. Let's get together. She did something years ago that she didn't weave in her ends, or was it her sister? But you know what? If you own it, you don't have to do it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the Speckle and Pop by Mr. Stephen West. It is a bear of a shawl, but if you're looking to learn something new, from different techniques to different stitches that you didn't know exist, this is the shawl for you.
Which he also called, before he was deciding whether or not he was going to show it, he described it, well, it's just a ball.
Well, right there, because I'm halfway, I put it down in the middle.
You did great.
I haven't picked it up. So I took this to Sisters, so I knit on a little bit.
I'm saying you did great showing it off, but he described it. Oh, I can't show it. It's just a ball.
Well, when you take it out, it just looks like, because you got to, I don't want to get my drop a stitch in the middle, and so it looks like just a big ball.
All right, well, be careful with it.
It's a gorgeous ball, but it looks like
It
a
really
big
is.
ball.
It really is pretty.
I mean, it's a color explosion. It's a pop. It's over the top, and I kind of love that.
Love it.
Love it.
All right.
So Chip, it's not what are you working on? Oh my God, how long has it been since we've done this? What are you making?
What am I making? I've actually started on something yesterday that is top secret for now. I'm going to show it in like within 2 weeks.
Tell them, no one else.
I'm going to tell you. Shh. What I'm making is...
I say it's upside down.
It is.
It's so secret that he's going to show it to you upside down.
I'm making
so you have to turn your head.
I'm making the Tessellation by Allison Glass using all Allison Glass fabrics, and it's going to be a nice one.
And that's it.
And that's all I'm going to
Move
tell
on.
you. Moving on. So yeah, I just started cutting. I've got my roadmap. I've cemented like what I want to do, which is half the battle.
Are you at least able to tell us how big it is?
No, that would be nonsense.
I don't know if it's like a little mouse pillow.
No,
Or it's going to be like the size of a car.
no. And who says it's going to be what it is?
I don't know what it. I didn't know if that would. Didn't even know it was going to be that.
Yeah, it's going to be something.
It's an oven mitt.
It's going to be something. It's going to be amazing. But that's what I'm working on. I'm not telling nothing. I'm not telling anything. Aaron,
Yeah.
what are you making?
That's all I have. All I have left is like shop update stuff that I know some of you want to see. So Chip, if you have anything else, it's time to show it.
Oh, well, I have shop update too.
Okay, let's do shop update. Where do you want to start? You want to start with the good stuff or the good stuff?
The better stuff.
That's then your stuff.
Okay, so, all right. Actually, no. So I don't have, like, the baskets have been preoccupying my entire universe for the last
So
4
thrilled
months.
you guys love these chip baskets. Literally, they
literally-
are like Beanie Babies.
But speaking of being babies, yes, they're like, like these are collector's items. And I've only got a couple of these. This is the large, all quilted on the inside. Like, this is a generous size. And these are going like hotcakes. There are a couple of these left.
This is the large. There is an extra large,
Like,
which is
I
sold
may
out.
only have
and then
like
there's a
5 baskets
medium.
in the shop. But what I'm working on, what has been absent and people are
Oh, this is
clamoring for,
delicious.
I only show you this to give you a size difference. So this is the large. I do make an extra large, medium. I think I have 4 mediums. That's it. And then I'm making more. But then we have the chipette. The
Look
chipette
at the
has not been in the store yet.
chipette.
Aaron, what is this good for?
Keeping squirrels, chipmunks.
You put your nuts in here.
You put your weed in there. No, these are really good if you are doing like a one skein sock project or a hat project. This is like the perfect size. One, they're super cute. You can do a skein in there. Let me just see if I can show an example. Let me unzip this bag. Forgive me, everybody. This is a hot mess right now. But the chipette is perfect. Like, here's my skein of yarn. If I was knitting a sock, I'm knitting, put my sock in there. It's great. I'm out there on the go. I don't have time for anything there. Perfect for sock knitting, even hat knitting. But again, I feel like we're name dropping her. Our friend from the Creative Obsession one time posted a picture or a story on Instagram that she went camping. Not that these are always camp built.
She took hers camping.
She did get camping, but she undid this, put it around the arm of, not her arm, but the arm of her chair, snapped it, so the chipette never had to touch the ground or anything. So she's knitting in her camping chair, and this was right next to her.
They're more well-traveled than I am.
They are more well-traveled than you are. But yeah, they're perfect for that kind of situation. So hats, anything that's going to take one skein, this is the perfect thing.
So yeah, so I'm working on some repeat fabric. So this was one fabric that was already in the shop. So I'm making some repeats. I mean, these are nice. Just throw them in and like, oh, now it's like I'm ready to move in. I mean, these are...
Yeah, and you can fit plenty in the large chip basket and even the medium.
You can see just like the difference in size. So depending on what project, I'm trying to make sizes that are pretty much at every size for people. But I love these, and they squish, they come back to life. Like these are like, they're pretty much indestructible.
Yeah. And for those who've never heard of the chip basket, this is your first time watching, welcome. But also, usually chip for his launches doesn't use the same fabric that often. So if you see this color, there's not going to be like 180 out there. There's going to be like 20 or so, maybe 5 in this size, 5 in the small size and all that. Can we do one disclaimer about the chip basket? The chip basket is great. It holds everything. We do not suggest that you load your chip basket with very heavy items and then carry it like this.
Oh my God. So
indestructible until if you have a 6-pack in there, a few books, some tackle, and whatever, the button will come because of everything you have in there. It will unsnap.
It's just a snap button. It's just, it's, you know, it'll be fine for your project, but yeah, you don't like take everything to your knit night and expect it.
Dragging your kid, holding this while
We've
you're
had
trying to
a
open
friend
a Pepsi.
who overloaded it, including a glass jar, and then it broke. So don't overload it, folks.
Yes. So that's
if you
just
like
a
to
little
overload
disclaimer.
if you like to overload your project bags, don't buy this.
But still buy it. But yeah, that's the only disclaimer we have about the chip basket.
All right, moving on.
All right, let me show you some new stuff I got in the store. Some of this isn't super new, but some of you might be new. So as some of you know, some of you don't, a lot of my inspiration from yarn comes from album covers. So I just want to show you a few things I've dyed up recently. Maybe not everybody is a fan, but some of you saw my Instagram this week of Iron Maiden.
Do we do this?
Wow! Yes, I'm a fan of Iron Maiden. And this one has inspired me to do this color. Can you zoom in just a little bit more, please? Thank you so much. So I'm mostly focused on the Iron Maiden and then Eddie's body. This is their mascot. So we have the pops of dark blue, a red for kind of the body of the skin that is exposed, and the yellow for the Iron Maiden. Gal Palette Work made this into a one skein shawl. It was gorgeous, gang. So this is one of them I've been working on.
Did she tag you on Instagram?
She did. So you can go to, Instagram's really getting on my nerves because I love going to Instagram and putting in like, let's say, the flax sweater. Hashtag flax sweater. And then you can see everybody who's made a flax sweater for like the last 2 or 3 years. Now it shows you like 20 options. And then when you filter, it says show newest or most updated post. And you only get like 20. I want to see everybody's, not just the most popular, because maybe the one I'm inspired by, 3 people have liked because it's their first post.
Yeah,
it is driving me insane.
They've changed it. So it's easier to see the most popular posts, but not for, what is this one called?
What do you mean? What's the, somewhere back in time? The yarn?
Yeah.
Somewhere back in time. So yeah, that is my Instagram beef right now, which we don't have to get into because I can talk for a good 2 hours about that. But I want to see everything to see if I'm interested in something. So, the other one I did, Pearl Jam 10. Again, it was on Instagram. I showed it. Literally an album that probably saved my life in high school. And oh my gosh, look at it right next to each other. It's like, that's Pearl Jam 10 right here. So I made this one. I got the pinks. I got everything. Again, pink is a hard color to get out. So I suggest you do not block this with just something white. Don't put your wedding dress in there and everything will be good. We got a little Outcast. So I made a yarn called So Fresh and So Clean. We got the pops of blue, the peach, and a little bit of the magenta in there. This one is come on, so fresh and so clean. Look at that color. And the one you guys have gone gaga over, in case you haven't seen it, this is Boston. And this is just fantastic how much people have been buying this up, tagging it, making things with it, everything. So I'm just so excited about Boston. And a little secret, you guys, and I love how people have been sharing Boston themed things with me. Not even the biggest Boston fan, but I was going through this album and I said, this is an album that I have to recreate. And now I listen to the damn thing all the time because I actually made the yarn out of it.
You got a connection.
I have a connection for it. The last thing that I probably want to show shop update wise is I was going through some inventory yesterday and I wasn't even planning on showing this, but I put these yarns together next to each other. I was like, this would be a perfect shawl. So if anybody's out there, I'm thinking about putting some kits together for those people that have a hard time putting kits together. But we have Paul Hollywood.
And oh my God, that is, I mean, like, it's so...
It's gorgeous.
Bright and pretty.
If you put Paul Hollywood next to I Remember That, then put I Remember That next to Blueberry Johnson, there's already a 4 skein set right there. 3 skein set right there. But if you were to add, you got nail polish on them jeans, you would have the most epic, and I'm doing this the wrong way, epic fade of like almost all time. So I love the color work. Or you can just take this one out and add that. But what if you go back to Outcast, So Fresh and So Clean? You can add that to that if you wanted a bigger pop. And I think that is gorgeous well. But oh no, I want a teal color. So these are just some, this teal color is called the Abyss. This is one of my favorite colors that I have dyed just because I love the way it looks. Just a really deep, dark teal. So yeah, this could be a fade, all that good stuff. To be honest with you guys, you know that photographing yarn is very difficult. I have had a few sessions with people. I've sent them pictures. They said, hey, can you take this out in the sunlight? More than happy to do that. I have FaceTime or Instagrammed videos with some people, and we've gone through and chosen kits and stuff for them. I am willing to do that. So if you do, I can't take a million calls a day, which everybody knows that. But if you have any questions on any of my yarn, what it looks like in the daylight, I'm more than happy to go outside, take a picture of it for you. If you want to see 2 next to each other, which I did 2 weeks ago, they said, hey, I ordered these 2, can you put them next to each other to make sure that they'll go together? I said, more than happy to. So, yeah.
You're so nice.
I am so nice. So if you have any questions or concerns, reach out in Instagram or send us an email, and we'll try to get
I
that
love
for
all
you.
this color explosion.
I know. I mean, there's the combinations are, you can actually do that and just have, yeah, that'd be a great contrast color. Look at this. Yeah, so that's what I have been up to. And thank you for everybody who's given me very positive feedback on yarn. Again, let me know the negatives, the positives, because I'm willing to take feedback because I want to make everybody happy.
Except for me. I'm not allowed to give them feedback.
Very, very true. One thing that I'm considering doing, those of you who have bought my yarn and you still tuned in, I leave the ties on, all 3 ties when I do sell this. Let me know if you think I should cut just 1 tie and have 2 ties. I leave 3 on, that way when you're putting it around your Swift, it's a little bit easier to manage, but I think it looks better if it only had 2 ties. So when I wind this up, I'm like tucking things in, trying to make it the most presentable. If I just cut the 3rd tie, it would look better, but it isn't more useful when you actually get it in your hands, if it's 3 tie or 2 tie, or do you even care? Because I know you want
I
the
don't
yarn.
care.
I know you don't care, but sometimes when I get yarn, I'm like, oh, I wish there was another tie because it's a little bit difficult. So that's just little things like that. I just need to know what our hustlers prefer.
Love it.
Yeah. What else do you got to show?
Well, hold on. So you would do that for, I mean, basically, are you taking a poll to decide which to do, or are you asking
for feedback?
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And I've already done some custom orders too, which has been very exciting. People are like, I just had a custom order of DK weight because somebody wanted a whole sweaters quantity of Boston, and it looks fantastic. Sorry. Love it. You're giving me a look like, shut up.
Why? Why would I?
I don't know.
That's what you do at the Fiber Hustle.
That's what you do with the fiber hustle. That's what
The Fiber Hustle.
That's what Carrie again criticizes the fiber hustle. And every time she says it, I just kind of laugh out loud. It's cute, super cute. Gosh, is this like a Game of Thrones Needles at the Ready episode?
Speaking of which,
Oh God.
so the last update, and we're pretty much going to know that you watched the whole show when we see this in the comments. So apparently we were watching a movie 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
What was the name of the movie?
I want to say it's something like 60. It's 65, but I don't know if there's words after it. And it's
65.
with Adam
It's just-
Driver and some little girl,
65.
teenage girl.
So we're watching it, and there's a lot of scenes that are dark. And at one point, I'm sitting here, Aaron's sitting here, TV's sitting here, and Aaron's like, there's a spot that just keeps coming up in the same spot no matter with every scene. So I pause it, and then the movie, and I go and I proceed to clean the TV. And mind you, we have had this TV, we have had it since 2007 or 8. I think
It's been a long time.
at least 2000.
Around the time we met.
We've had this. It's a 55-inch TV. It's an OLED.
It's a workhorse.
It's been a workhorse. I mean, God knows we've sit around eating the ice cream and watching the TV. So I clean the whole thing, and I finish, and I say, okay, it'll be another 10 years before that thing gets cleaned again. So we go to start the movie again, and don't you know, there is a 4-inch strip, top to bottom, that the pixels went out. I must have been too aggressive. I didn't think I was being that aggressive, but apparently I have been aggressive with the TV.
Chipped it.
I chipped it. So now it looks like we are watching a pirated bootleg copy of Needles at the Ready with this 4-inch, you know, I come downstairs and he's watching bootleg
Everything.
pirated copies of The Creative Obsession, with Needles at the Ready, with Chevis,
yes.
Chevis, all of them. They're all bootlegged copies now, and we're waiting until Black Friday until there's a deal.
I hope so. And he said, I think it's getting better. I don't think it's really getting better. I think we're just getting used to this streak.
No. It was doing some really funky stuff. It is getting a little bit, I feel like,
Black Seal's turning red and like have these boxes of red.
yeah, it's not doing any crazy stuff. It's just definitely, there's a 4-inch strip that is...
It's on the left side. So question real quick. When you're watching TV, do your eyes sometimes see that stripe and think that this is the TV and you only watch right here and you're not watching here? I found myself doing that a few times.
I don't get to watch the TV downstairs as much as you do.
Oh, please. Lies. Oh, sorry. That one just took me back. Jiminy Christmas. Okay, but yes, it's true. Wow. Oh.
So anyway, we're watching a different version of all of your favorite shows.
It's true.
We get the pirated bootleg copy. But yeah, that's it. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put our next episode on our calendar, and we're going to do it.
We're going to do it. We'll go more over Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show at our next episode.
We've already got content for you. It's just a matter of finding the peace and quiet to do it.
Mm-hmm. Fiber Flock is this week in Seattle, which is a brand new fiber event, which I'm very excited because they're making it kind of sound like Woolen Folk. If you have been to Rhinebeck, the day before was Woolen Folk. So I'm really excited to see if that is what's actually happening.
When is that?
This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
So maybe I can go Sunday?
Yeah, see, I'm definitely going Saturday to meet up with some friends.
I want to see because I want
Friday.
to get kind of the idea of the vibe and see if we want to to do a booth if we can next year.
We want to do a booth.
I mean, it's local.
Yeah, so it's 20-minute drive if that. So
Cool.
cool. Yeah, party.
All right. Anything else?
That is all I have.
Okay. So
We've missed you.
100%.
Thank you for tuning into this little dog and pony show again. Tell your friends, tell your family, even your enemies. We'll take them. Totally fine. Totally fine. Yes. Oh, great. Hey. Yes, tell your friends, enemies, your friends. I already said that family because we want you guys to share the word of Fiber Hustle.
And welcome to August. So tomorrow is the 31st. We're going to put this out tomorrow. Yeah, because we still got to do show notes, but it'll get out tomorrow. You have something to surprise on Monday.
That's why it was so awkward. We have 2 videos up there, and I thought you hit a button and you zoomed in on me. And that's why I was like, oh, and I repeated it again because I thought it was only on me. I'm like, okay, but then I saw 2 screens, so I was just very awkward there for no reason.
It's all that TV you're watching downstairs.
Please.
You should be an expert.
Exactly.
All right. Well, you guys take care of each other and have a great time. Yoan,
Play us out.
play us out.